In the previous lesson, we learned about a couple of different ways to print your content here in OneNote 2007. In this lesson, we'll take it a step further and explore some of the options as well as printer preferences that can help you control what it is you're printing. We'll continue to use the same notebook in this lesson. So if you've been following along with me, perfect, you're ready to go. If you've jumped to this lesson, however, and you do have the exercise files, you can get all caught up by opening up Meetings 2 from the Lesson 11 folder. Here we are in the Monthly Revenue Meetings section on the first page titled September 08. All right, let's check out some of those print options now. For example, I'm looking at this page. It's got a background and it's color, and I don't want to use up the color ink. I want to print in black and white. That might be an option. And I'm going to a meeting, so I want to take 5 copies with me. That's another option I might want to set. Let's do some of that now. Instead of going to the print icon here on the toolbar, which will print out the default to our default printer, 1 copy of what we see here, let's go up to File and down to Print to launch the print dialog box. All right, from here we can select any printer we have connected. And I only have one real printer I can print to. It's my HP DeskJet. You should see your own printers there. And if you want to select a different printer, you can just by clicking it. You'll notice one of them has a green check, and that is your default printer. You may also see this, Send to OneNote 2007. Now, we did see that in a previous lesson when using other applications in the Microsoft Office suite. So this is handy in Word and Excel, for example, but it's really of no use to us here in OneNote because we've already got the content in OneNote. Down below, the print ranges we talked about, so let's leave selection chosen. But over here, we can choose the number of copies. Now, we know that this page that we're on will actually print on 2 pieces of paper. So if I needed those 5 copies, I could bump this up to 5 or just type in the number 5 on my keyboard. If I do that, I know that without collate selected, I'm going to get 5 copies of that first page and 5 copies of that second piece that overlaps on this particular page here in OneNote. So collate is always a good idea if more than 1 sheet of paper will be needed to print out your content and you're printing more than 1 copy. This way all the collating is done for you, saving you quite a bit of time and energy. Now just before we click print with those options, we can also access our own printer's preferences, and that's what we're going to do right now. Clicking the Preferences button will display information about your printer, which will likely be different from my printer unless you've got the exact same model. I'm using the HP model, that's why you see the logo down here. Mine's a 3600 series, so some of these options you see across the top, you may have something different. But what I was really interested in was the color. Remember, I don't want to use up all of my color ink printing out 5 copies for this meeting when black and white is good enough. So I can go up to my color tab, for example, choose to print in grayscale, and your printer should have something similar to this. And instead of high quality, I want to use the black print cartridge only, so I'm going to select that. All right, if I wanted to keep this as a setting, a quick task or whatever, I could type it in here, type new quick set name here, and I'm going to do that. B/W, that's my shortcut, and click Save. So now I've got that setting from this point forward. Now under Finishing, I've got options here using my BW task or quick set. I've also got the options down below, document options to print on both sides. It's a manual operation for my printer. And you can see pages per sheet and posters 1 page per sheet. So I could shrink it down if I wanted to squeeze stuff on, like 2 pages on 1 sheet of paper. Might be hard to read, so you might use this for contacts and that kind of thing. It doesn't apply to my document. I've also got effects up here. So resizing options, print document on letter, you can see is the default. Actual size is coming out, but if I want to shrink it down or expand it, I could choose a different size paper here and it would actually shrink it down or blow it up to fit. I'm going to leave it at actual size. I could also choose a percentage of the normal size, which is set to 100. So I could blow this up using the slider. You can see the preview over here, or shrink it down. And you can see the preview there. I'm going to leave it again at actual size, which is 100% of what I started with. Here's something neat too under effects. Now you may not have these options if you don't have the same printer, or you may have better options, but I've got the ability, if I wanted to use watermarks, I could use my edit button to choose something that will appear in the background. This page already has a watermark or background effect using those numbers, and the options I've chosen so far mean those are going to come out in black and white as opposed to color, so I'm not going to use a watermark. Paper quality, most printers will have the ability here to choose paper quality. So you can see letter is chosen right here. There's all of those sizes again from this dialog box. You can see the type, HP trifold brochure, paper glossy. So depending on what you bought and inserted into your paper tray, you may be able to select it from this drop down or choose from more options. Print quality over here, you can see normal, dots per inch is 600. So I could do a draft mode if I wanted to, and you can see that reduces the quality, but it comes out much quicker. And I can go to maximum DPI, which is 1200. That'll really slow things down, but the quality will look good. All I really need is fast normal for this one, 300. That's going to work out nicely. Save me a little bit of ink, but the quality won't be too bad either. I have some advanced settings here as well. You can see getting into color management and printer features. But I'm ready to print, so I click OK, and off it goes to the printer as soon as I click the print button here. So lots of options when it comes to printing, and your own printer will have its own preferences button as well to give you even more options when printing in OneNote 2007.